So, good morning, everyone. In the last video, we discussed about what is biometrics and why we are using a biometrics and what are its types. And we discussed about the history and we discussed about what is single factor authentication and dual factor authentication. So now I'm going to share my screen. So in this video, we are going to discuss about each and every types of the biometrics. So first, I already said what are the things that are coming under the physiological. So it is a fingerprint, face, hand, iris, retina, signature, gait, palm print, voice pattern, and DNA. So I already said DNA comes under the biological traits. So it is mainly used for checking the blood pressure or whether we are having a viral fever or something. So more importantly, I did not discuss about the topic called gait. So what is gait? So mainly gait traits won't be preferred because gait means our our leg fingerprints will be available. So it will be easily becoming dirty. So we cannot capture the input from the particular person. So gate will be used only for the born babies and it won't be preferred for the persons, those who are, those whose age is more than 3. Only it will be preferred for the babies it will be between 1 to 2 years because babies cannot walk, right? So only for the babies, the gait fingerprint will be preferred. So this is the most important thing we have to keep in mind. So always gait will be preferred for the babies. So automatically the gait fingerprints won't be preferred for any kind of the institutions or any kind of the organization. So these are the different traits. I already said. So if you take a fingerprint that comes under the physiological, if you take a iris, actually the iris will be preferred mostly, but iris is not preferable for the blind people. Then hand geometry. If you take a hand geometry, you can look into my image. So hand geometry, the entire hand will be preferred. In this, the region of the interest will be taken into the account, and in this, there will be a certain region we will be considering it. So the region that we are considering it will be considered as 1. So 1 represents the true. So it will be capturing, the application will be capturing the entire palm, as well as in that only the region that I'm going to consider, that will be considered as a 1 and remaining will be considered as a false. So this will be carried out for both palm print as well as a hand geometry. So for example, after keeping that, after giving my input, there will be a crop of this. Okay. After cropping, only the region of the interest, which I'm going to consider as an input, only that will be considered as a 1 and remaining things will be considered as a 0 and that will be neglected. So this is what I said, gait. Gait means the footprint of the legs that we are having, that will be considered only for the babies. If you take a signature, only the signature of the what? The signatures that we are applying in a papers or something, only that will be considered, but we can easily misuse that. We can come to that point later because we have to make a comparison of it and we have to come to the conclusion like which should be considered and which should be rejected. I mean, which trait should be considered and which should be not considered, and that particular whichever the thing that we are not considering, that will be discarded. Okay, and this is a voice one. If you take a voice one, so voice one, we should not make any desired action. The most important thing here is that through our voice, it will be recognizing what we are saying. Through that, the biometric will be applied there. But this also that can be easily misused by the person, those who can do the mimicry. So that the accuracy level falls, that also we can discuss it later. Now, we can move into this. generic biometric system. So this is the image acquisition. What image acquisition means? So we'll be taking out some image and we'll be removing some noisy data. So how the noisy data will be removed? By using an acquisition. So mainly we are using acquisition to improve the quality of the image. So after improving the quality, so next point we can move into this pre-processing. What is pre-processing? The pre-processing is that we'll be giving some input. We'll be improving the quality of the input by using the image acquisition, and then we'll be making a feature extraction. So this is a feature, this is a fingerprint. And for example, I'm taking an example as a fingerprint. So in the fingerprint, if you look, zoom into the finger, many lines will be there. That is known as a minuity. How this was extracted as a feature means by using the minuity algorithm. After doing this, okay, we have to enroll that in our database. So initially the enrollment process will be done. Okay, and then we'll be loaded into the database, and then the verification and identification process will be carried out. So this is the thing. So the first initially the enrollment will be done. So what is 1:1? The basic example for 1:1 is that we can consider our mobile phones. Okay, if you take a mobile phone, so it is of single user that is going to use. So I am going to enroll that. Only I can enroll it. Okay, so automatically after enrolling it, my input will be loaded into the database. Every time if I'm giving my fingerprint or face recognition, it will be loading it from the database, and it will be considering that I'm a right person or wrong person. Through that, it will be giving an output to me, depending upon the input that I given already. In case if it is a 1:n, that is a 1:n is a thing that we used in a that we are using in a working workplace or something. So there will be a n number of the users they might have enrolled. Through the n number of the user, one particular user will be going into the biometric system and he'll be marking its identity. So in the n number of the entries will be available in the database. Through the n number of the entries, it will be taking out the right person, and it will be using the decision rule, and it will be declaring whether it is a true or false. So that is a difference between verification and the identification. Verification means it is 1:1, and identification means 1:n. So for this process, will be initially how to do the enrollment. You can look into the slide. Enrollment. After doing the enrollment, that will be loaded into the database. And depending upon 1:1 and 1:n, it will be providing the output depending upon the input that we already loaded into the database. So listen, if you take a fingerprint, I already said by using a minuity algorithm, we'll be using the minuity. And if it is an iris, so if you take an iris, you can look into the image. We cannot straight away capture the retina by using the biometric applications. Initially, what you have to do is that we have to capture the eye, and in the eye, what you have to do is that we have to take out, we have to crop. That's what set the point called region of the interest. We have to apply the particular tool. We have to apply the particular technique of region of the interest, and we have to crop only the retina. In the retina, it will be capturing the iris code. Because why mainly we are using an iris? The reason for that is that if you take a face recognition, the face recognition won't be supporting the identical twins, because if it is an identical twins, the face recognition biometric system will get confused because both the persons will be similar. So this is the problem that it will be occurring while you are using a face. Okay, for avoiding this confusion, we'll be using an iris. So while you are using an iris, the iris is not recommended for the blind people. So if you take a face recognition, so straight away we should not stand very close to the biometric system. So we have to stand some part away from the biometric system, so that distance represent this. So for this only we'll be using a LDA concept. LDA is the linear discriminative analysis that we will be discussing while we are going deep into the syllabus. I think so it will be falling in the units called unit 3. I hope so. There we'll compressing the data sets where we'll be discussing about this LDA features. So again, I'm repeating, while we are discussing the fingerprint, first feature extraction will be made based on the minutiae algorithm. If you take an iris code is needed, but that was done by using the feature extraction. For face, feature extraction will be made based on the distance. So this is I already said, these are the biometric functionalities: enrollment, verification, and identification. So next we can move into the design cycle of the biometric system. First, we have to understand this flowchart very carefully. First, we have to start it, and first we have to understand the nature of the application. Okay, what is the understanding the nature of the application? So, which application we are going to use? Okay, depending upon that, there are various traits are available. We have to come to the conclusion that which trait I have to use. Whether I have to choose a finger, or whether I have to use a face, or whether I have to use a keystroke. Okay, depending upon the accuracy, we have to come to the conclusion. Then we have to collect the biometric data. What is collecting the biometric data? We'll be collecting the input from the user. Then we have to use a matching algorithm. So for finger, we have to use a minutiae algorithm. For iris, for ID's code, I have to use some other algorithm. For face, for distance, I have to use an LDA algorithm. Like that, I have to use a various algorithm for the various traits. Then finally, we have to come to the conclusion, we have to evaluate it and we have to produce the results. So that's what I said. We have to use a choice of the biometric trait. Which trait I have to use? There are various traits are available. Which trait we have to use? Depending upon the nature of the application, we have to come to the conclusion that whether I have to use a finger or whether I have to face or which kind of the trait I have to prefer, I have to come to the conclusion. So, what are the factors that influencing the biometric trait? In the next video, I will be uploading it. Yeah, along with the factors, we can discuss, go into the deep about what is a finger, what is a face. Okay. So in this video, we discussed about what are the various traits that are available, and we discussed about the what are the functionalities that are available in the biometrics. What are the functionalities? First, we have to enroll it, and second, we have to use an identification and verification. And we have to know the concept called what is 1:1 and what is to 1:n. Okay. And then in the next video, we can discuss about what are the factors that it's going to influence the traits. And then we can discuss on deep about what are the different types, and we can discuss about the accuracy. And finally, we can come to the conclusion that whether we are going to prefer physiological or behavior. Thank you. Now I'll stop sharing it.